As it's me, it's Queen Heru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. All right, guys, I got a very interesting question today. An Aquarius woman sent me an email, and she said that she has come to find that she is bossy and that her friends and her family and her relationships with other people at work are really suffering because everybody thinks she's bossy. So it's starting to become a problem. It's always been an issue in the family, but now she's starting to see it affect her romantic relationships, and she's starting to see it affect her work relationships severely. So she asked me, as an Aquarius, what can she do to stop being so bossy? Well, first and foremost, you're on the right track because you had the kahunas to realize there is an issue. See, most people don't heal from their issues, no matter what it is: narcissism, abuse, bossiness, whatever personality trait that you want to work on, or whatever um, a mental health issue or whatever you have going on. Most people do not heal from problems, small to major, simply because they don't acknowledge that there is a problem. A lot of people have issues of all kinds, and they refuse to acknowledge that they have an issue. So, first of all, you're on the right track because you started in the right place with admitting the truth to yourself. See, I love a person that's accountable and responsible for their own actions. I hate people who always blaming. Well, I ain't gonna say I hate them. I dislike being around people who always blame everything on other people. Have you ever been around a person who, no matter what happens in their life, it's not their fault? It's their mom, it's their dad, it's their kid, it's their boss. It's always a different person. So I respect the fact of anyone. I respect anyone who steps up and says, you know what, I'm doing this. It's a mistake and I want to stop. What do I do? That I give you respect for. So first thing you really want to do is you want to figure out, why are you bossy? In any situation, if you figure out anything is going on with you that you don't particularly care for, the first thing you have to do is figure out why. Why is that thing occurring? So bossy people, I know two things, or two reasons why some people are bossy. One could be that they had a sense of powerlessness currently or at one time. A person who's bossy is often trying to control their environment, and sometimes that's because at one point they didn't have control, or they always feared losing control. That's one. It could be a major control issue as far as that's concerned. The other way I know is that some people are just born that way. They're born assertive, they're born aggressive. Aquarius fall into this category. So it could just be your sun sign. It could just be your energy. And if that's the case, the answer is still the same. The first thing you do is figure out why. If it's a trauma cause, such as you were once powerless, or you've always feared being powerless because of something that happened to you, in those cases, you want to heal the trauma. Once you heal the trauma, you'll stop feeling the need to be so bossy. Now, those of us who are bossy naturally, that is a whole different hill of beans. Because those of us who are bossy naturally, because I had that problem all my life, and I'm still working on it to this day. Now it's changed, it's shifted. I was bossy when I was young, and this is how I shifted it. Basically, if you are bossy, you have leadership qualities. If it's something that is a natural, innate, just how your personality is, you are always like that. That's generally because you have leadership qualities. You are here to be a leader. And if you're not in a position where you are a leader, you are going to clash with the other leaders who are around you, especially in work environments. So let's say, for example, you work at Walmart and you're just a cashier. You're often going to find yourself bossing around the other employees, your friends and your coworkers. They're of course not going to like it. But the truth is that you're bossing people around because you have leadership potential, but it's not coming out properly. As you can see, a bossy person's leadership potential comes off really aggressive, and it comes off annoying to other people. A bossy person can even be perceived as bullying other people. So it's not coming off the way you want it to. So the way to change that is to start realizing that you're a leader and start working on your leadership potential. Start reading books about leadership. Start watching YouTube videos about being a leader. Learn the techniques of a leader, because you are basically leading, but you're leading from a place of not having that knowledge. Learn how to be diplomatic, how to talk to people. It's books on all this stuff. It's YouTube videos on all this stuff. We are in the information age. So you can find all of this. You can take workshops on leadership. You can go to leadership conferences. I've been to a bunch of them. And when I was younger and I was going to Youth Build, I'm a Youth Build graduate. So when I was younger and I was going to the Youth Build program, I went to a million leadership conferences, and those were for young people, but they also have them for adults. So learn. I mean, in my case, I was blessed because I was sent to these things and it was paid for. So maybe if I wasn't in that situation, I wouldn't have been able to afford to go to leadership conferences and things like that. But if I didn't, I could still look at it on YouTube. I could still read books about it. If a workshop that was inexpensive came to the college, for example, a lot of times colleges and different places have these kinds of things and they're free or discounted. Sometimes your local library has these kind of things. So it takes to do some research, you know? But that's what I would do. I would research things revolving around leadership, and I would change those harsh, aggressive qualities into leadership qualities. And that's what I did with mine. Now, sometimes I am still bossy. I think it depends on who I'm around. If I'm around, like, my daughter or somebody like that, somebody who I have to remember, consciously, then it's a whole different story. When I'm around, like, work, for example, if I'm teaching a class or doing a workshop or something like that, those are the times when it's easiest to remember not to be bossy. But when I'm with my family and I'm relaxed, and my polished self is off, I think those are the times when I struggle with this still. But when I was younger, I struggled with it all of the time. Now I still struggle with it, but I still work on it. And I recognize it. And I'm like, you know what? People don't need you bossing them around. Sit your behind down. So I've learned, like I said before, how to tap into those skills. A lot of it has to do with communication skills. And the other part has to do with, like I said, leadership abilities, leadership training. All of those things have to do with it. And diplomacy, studying about diplomacy and, how to talk to people, how to persuade people, how to, how to deal with complex negotiations and things like that. If you read and watch stuff like that, your bossiness will soften. It will soften tremendously. And you'll find yourself going into leadership positions. So now you're no longer, the cashier at Walmart. Now you're the manager. Now you're the assistant manager. Now you're the, regional manager. If you are a bossy person, it just means you're a leader. So fine tune those skills and get the leading. That's what you're here for. That's your divine purpose. That's your mission. So get them skills together and get to leading. You're supposed to be leading something, and you're never going to be able to do it from that bossy space. You have to become to a more knowledgeable, diplomatic space. So that's the thing. It's not a bad thing. You're not a bad person. You're actually probably a really good person who might need to heal some trauma and needs to learn those skills of leadership. And once you learn those skills, like I said, you'll soften and people won't think of you as being as bossy. Leaders are always going to be seen as bossy, but at least people won't be so angry with you about it. And you'll have a better rapport with the people that you're supposed to lead. Now, family, is a different story, because family is they rarely let people lead in the family. Usually it's the oldest member that leads, usually, depending on the family structure. But like I said, it's always a challenge with family. But the more you learn those skills, you'll soften in that area too. And because you're recognizing it and noticing it, you'll continue to work on it and you'll get better and better at it. So just work on it in the ways that I stated, and I guarantee before you know it, you'll be a leader. Okay? All right, guys, it's time for me to get going. So, if you would like to contact me, all my information will be underneath this video. If you would like to send me a gift, my wish list will be underneath this video. If you would like to send me a love donation, my PayPal will be underneath this video, as well as my Patreon page in case you want to become a patron. All right, guys, and don't forget, come back soon because I have a lot more to say. See you later.